This is Travis Wayne Goodsell. First thing in the morning after my run, so I'm a little tired, and yes, I'm communicating with you, not presenting a media presentation. This is a communication presentation. I'm trying to talk with you. Unfortunately, YouTube is not designed for feedback from you guys in real time. So, just to let you know of my plans. The ban was lifted on my Mormon Compromat video number 2, so I recommend you go to that. Yeah, it made no sense why YouTube would flag it, because it didn't pose a copyright violation. But the one company that still was stubborn on the matter, they relented, but made sure to put the link information to their song that was playing in the background. So yeah, fortunately they didn't wait the full 30 days, but the timing is off now. So I haven't checked yet to see how many people have seen it since last night when it was lifted. So yeah, and yeah, I haven't gotten to any of your comments, if there are any, because I threw a bombshell yesterday. I threw it down, dropped the mic, and I didn't put LDS Mormons in the title. It was on my video title, but I forgot to type it in the video title. So I don't think it's going to get as much attention as it should. So understand, Mormons, that this is something for you too, Jews and Christians. I have found the date for the sign, not the event on earth, the sign of the second coming. That's right, the sign for the second coming. You gotta watch the video because I'm not gonna explain it here. So Jews, they're looking for their Jewish Messiah. Christians are looking for their Jesus Christ. Mormons are looking for their one mighty and strong. What? No, Jesus Christ, like Christians. No. And Christians, no, you're looking for the man-child, not Jesus Christ. That's why the book of Revelation almost didn't get put in the New Testament. They almost rejected it for that specific reason. And so, yeah, they didn't like apocalyptic literature. And so, yeah, the Apocalypse of Peter and Old Testament apocalyptical literature was questionable. And so, yeah, a lot of scriptures were rejected because they didn't like being told that their church was apostate and needed to be restored. Of course, corrupt leaders don't like being told that they are corrupt and that they're going to be replaced. Look at King Herod. The story of King Herod, even though it wasn't Herod, because his time frame was too early before Jesus was supposed to have come. But nevertheless, the story points this out. Leaders don't like being told they're corrupt and that they are going to be replaced. Same with Pharaoh. Pharaoh didn't like being told by Moses that he was corrupt and that he was going to be replaced. So yeah, that's a common theme of corrupt leadership. You know, and you can see it here in the Utah government. They don't like being told they're doing what's wrong. And so they use the excuse, you voted for us, which means you voted to sustain us, to approve of whatever we say. That's their justification. Literally, that's what a senator here in the Utah legislature once told Utahns to the press. So, yeah, and Trump. Exactly. He doesn't like being told he's bad. No collusion. It's Hillary. They don't like it. So, yeah, it's a common human behavioral trait of bad people. Wickedness is predictable. You can predict what a bad, wicked person's going to do. A corrupt person. You know, it's the good person that's who's unpredictable. Because, you know, who's he going to help next? That's the only predictability about him, is that he's going to help and serve mankind. So what he's going to do, you don't know. How he's going to do it, you don't know. But when he gets inspired, then you know. So that's a thing. I'm going to give you the date. 21st of January 2019. I'm going to give you the date. If you want to know how I came to that date, you've got to watch the video then. Okay, so yeah, somebody has recognized that my ring is a Freemason ring. See, not just Jewish ring, Freemason. And so he was asking me, is that a Freemason ring? He had other things, but he edited those out. And so I replied, yes it is. And then I pointed out to him that it's not for the Jewish symbolism, it's not for the Freemason symbolism, it's for the Egyptian symbolism. That's why I have it and wear it. So I'm sure many of you have been wondering about the ring, and because, you know, if he's finally able to comment about it, he's just the bold and daring one to finally come out and ask. There is another person who communicates with me on my Gmail who also came out and asked, and she was a little scolding though. And so I had to calm her down and explain. All right, so and so the guy on YouTube though, he then had a follow-up question: are you Freemason? Or are you a Mason? Are you a Freemason? And then I thought about it. You know, my first answer is no, obviously not. I didn't go through the Freemasonic lodges. But then I thought, wait a minute, no, hold on. And Joseph Smith started the Nauvoo Lodge, but the Grand Master of Warsaw, at Warsaw, had dissolved it. And so Joseph Smith's lodge is no longer in operation. It's dead. Nobody joins it. However, Brigham Young, being the rebel that he was, formed his own Freemasonic lodge, and thus merged with the religious temple that Joseph Smith had developed as well. Joseph Smith had developed the two separately, though inspired by the Book of Abraham papyrus and the Freemasonic temple. He was inspired by both of those, and had his temple rituals separated from his Freemasonic rituals that were already established prior to Joseph Smith. So he stuck to the Freemasonic rites, but his temple was of a different manner, even though they were both held in the Nauvoo temple, because they were at first denied a lodge, and thus they couldn't build a cultural hall, which was called a cultural hall after the anti-Masonic movement that the Smith family had an integral part in causing. Not negatively causing, but rescuing causing. And so, yeah, people don't know this about early American history, and how the Joseph Smith family played an integral part in the founding of America. And so Brigham Young is the one, however, who merged the Joseph Smith temple ritual and added to it, and then added in the Freemasonic lodge ritual as well. And so that's why Mormons and Freemasons in the temple ritual are similar, though yes, there are differences. It's because he's mixing two different organizations. And so I thought, well, wait a minute. Under the Brighamite Lodge, I am a Brighamite Freemason because I was given the rites of initiation in the Los Angeles Temple of the Brighamite LDS Church. So then I thought to myself, well, I'm a witty and comedic person. Nobody thinks my jokes are funny. And so I thought to myself, and I replied to this guy who asked, I guess I'm a Brighamite Freemason, but I don't know what level in Freemasonry I am, in the Brighamite Lodge Freemasonry that I am. So I might be a Master Mason, I'm not sure. For those of you who don't know, Joseph Smith and Joseph Smith Sr. both became Master Masons. Joseph Smith Sr. back in the early days before the organization of the church. It was when he moved to Palmyra. And then Joseph Smith Jr. In the 1843 incident that the Warsaw Lodge was furious with the Grand Master over. Okay, so who knows? I'm a Master Mason. So yeah, the church really doesn't have a ranking elevation as they ought to if they're going to use the Freemasonic rituals. But it was intended, the religion also was to have a ranking system. You know, we have the deacon, teacher, priest in the Aaronic priesthood, and then we had elders, 70, but those were dissolved by when was it? Was it Kimball or Benson who dissolved the 70 at the stake level? But then of course high priest, and then you have your officers of the high priest. The bishop has to become a high priest. The stake president and the council of 12 in the stake center, or the stake level, are all high priests. And the regional representatives, the area representatives, the 70, even the first quorum of 70, which are now Monson changed the title. He combined the first and second quorums together into one body of the official 70. The other 70 are not official. So, and then, yeah, the apostles and the presidency. So that's the way the structure is organized, and I don't think that counts up to 20 or 32 rankings, so such that there would be the second anointing, which would be the honorary 33rd degree Mason. So yeah, Brigham Young didn't do too well in his organization, even though he had Heber C. Kimball to instruct him on it, because Brigham Young didn't become initiated. There's no documentation that he did, but Heber C. Kimball does have documentation that he did, and Brigham Young's brothers also have documentation of being in the Scottish Rites Lodge, and so yeah, it goes to figure that he would have gotten it from Heber C. Kimball and his older brothers as to how to organize it, since he himself didn't become initiated into it. Although I think he did. He was one of the 5 special ones that Joseph Smith elevated in the ritual. So he would have had to have had a good memory to remember the ritual that Joseph Smith gave. But yeah, he had brothers, and Heber C. Kimball, his best buddy, to fill in the blanks. Just like Joseph Smith had Hiram, his older brother, and his father to fill in the blanks. Okay, so yeah, I'm wanting to do a video. Oh man, this is 16 minutes already. So I'm wanting to do a video on the identity of the person of the last days. And like I said, Jews calling him their last days Jewish Messiah, and the Christians say it's the second coming of Jesus. However, John the Revelator, as I mentioned, says it's the man-child, refers to him as the man-child. And so, yeah, man-child's father is the one who is missing. That's Jesus. Because Jesus was murdered. And for the Mormons, it's the one mighty and strong. Because remember, Joseph Smith was murdered. It's not him. He didn't restore the kingdom. He was murdered before he could establish the kingdom. And so, yes, the one mighty and strong is the Mormon version who will restore the kingdom. And it's not the successors of Brigham Young, because Brigham Young is the usurper who murdered Joseph Smith. Brigham Young. So yes, Nelson is not the legitimate president of the church. God does not approve of him. It's not me, guys. That just follows prophecy. So you gotta follow prophecy, and that's what I want to do, is reveal from all of the videos that I did, the 9 1.5-hour videos, talking all about the prophecies of them, and summarizing it for you, listing them off rather than discussing them as I'm doing here and explaining. And so it still is going to be a long video just by listing off all of the prophecies. And so, as you understand, the Jews during the time of Jesus, they already had a checklist of what to look for. And the account of Herod, he also refers to his priests to say, hey, what are the prophecies for this person who's supposed to come and replace me? These wise men are saying that the sign has come. I want to know where he is so I can murder him. And so, yeah, so do you understand? There are signs to identify who this last days person is. And so Christians, I'm sorry, it's not Jesus. Because that's why the Jews don't recognize Jesus as being the Savior, because he was murdered. He died. He didn't fulfill the checklist required by the Jews, according to their prophecies. And so, yes, Christians, the Gospels are a prophecy of the last days Jewish Messiah, because the Gospel authors mixed Jesus stories with the man-child stories. And that's why John is talking about the man-child, not Jesus, in the last days. So the second coming of Jesus Christ, no, sorry guys, it's the second coming of the child of Jesus, spiritual child, obviously, the man-child, and the Jewish Messiah, the one mighty and strong of the Mormons, not Joseph Smith, not a successive president of the church. And why not a successive president of the church? Because prophecies indicate he will be of low stature. He will never hold any leadership position in government or religion. Thus, it's not the president of the church. It's not a leader of government. And so, yes, I will point out the prophecies that indicate that the LDS church is the religion in the latter days, and that the United States government is the government prophesied of the latter days. And so it's all in the prophecies, every last detail. But you got to assemble everybody's prophecies together. Both Jewish, Christian, Mormon, Chinese, yes, even Chinese have they have their prophecies of them as well. And Egyptian's the source for all of it. And so, yeah, that's my intention, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get it today, because it's going to take a long time to go through all my videos and make the list necessary to point out to you guys. Yeah, it's when, yeah, I won't go down that road. I don't want to cry. So be looking for that. So over the weekend, so I'll have it before the sign of the second coming. So all right, I'm done. I need to have breakfast and get ready for the day, and